On September 16th, my birthday, of 2016, Zach King released a short little video he calls the Cardboard Invisibility Suit. Because the images on the cardboard are such a good match with the background, this was probably done just filming with the cardboard, probably with markers, and adding the effects in post. There is a somewhat free-moving camera, although it looks as if the shot ends with the camera on a tripod, back at rest. This is important to be able to get a good shot of the background without having to put too much work into positioning it. I thought this little clip would be a good thing for me to try and reproduce. Rather than create a bunch of pieces of cardboard and strapping them to myself, I figure it would be best to start with just a single piece and use this to figure out the difficulty of the effect. My experience so far has shown me that it can be hard to predict during filming what will make the visual effect work easier, until I've at least gone through the process once. To begin with, I took the side of a Cheerios box and stuck some address return labels under the corners to use as tracking markers. As we'll see later, this turned out to be really helpful, and tracking just the corners of the cardboard would be a lot more work. I then filmed a poorly acted version of the invisibility suit sequence with a moving camera that then settles onto the ground. Turns out the camera introduced some motion blur a few times that made automatic tracking fail. Fortunately, my tracking markers were pretty clear and it was easy to track through these by hand. I'm pretty sure that having the weight of the tripod still attached to the camera kept this from being much worse. I started trying to do the effect in Fusion Studio 9. I quickly determined that I don't really know how to do this, and a future effort on my part may be to reproduce the effect using Fusion Studio. Instead, I brought the footage into Nuke Non-Commercial. Nuke is really an amazing program, and as long as you're satisfied with HD, the non-commercial version is quite useful. What I did then was to track my 4 markers. I had to do this a few times, each time watching a few more tutorials. The most important thing was to learn what order the tracker anchors need to be in. I've not been able to find a way to reorder these, and if you get them wrong, the resulting corner pin is twisted out of shape. So for this, I generated a corner positioner based on the last frame of the video, the one that matches when I'm not in the frame. I then used a HoldFrame node to grab a frame from after I left the scene and apply that to the corner positioner. By default, the corner positioner leaves the chosen frame unmodified, which turns out to be exactly what I wanted here. I then drew a simple roto mask and masked off this section in the still image, and the end result, without anything else, looks pretty good, at least until I walk away.